It's not gonna be that bad. I can do this melee only.
God Tamer.
The dude is just literally standing still and he jumps up sometimes. How bad can it be, man? No! Yup, I still suck. Gotta get good. This is the third trial of the Colosseum, and I decided to complete it without spells, without nail arts, and without any grain of common sense. Well, this made for 12 hours of tryharding with unoptimized charms and a character with a lot of power to gain. You've just witnessed my first encounter with the God Tamer, the final hurdle standing between me and the title of Fool. Unfortunately, I did not beat him on my first attempt. But getting there a second time, however, proved to be harder than expected. This is the dumbest decision I've made in Hollow Knight so far. It's always been crystal clear to me that Hollow Knight is amazing, and yet it sat untouched in my Steam library for over 8 years. What a cardinal gamer sin that is. I finally started my blind playthrough live on stream after it won a community poll, and quickly realized I've been seriously sleeping on this game, holy moly. I'm a sucker for good original soundtracks, and the irony is that Hollow Knight's soundtrack has been one of my favorites for years. I've listened to it more than I've played the game, like 10 times more. Knowing the soundtrack so well gives me a sense of familiarity with locations I've yet to explore. It's very cool actually. Starting off, I was kind of stumbling around, with no map, totally lost, until I heard Cordofer's cheerful little whistle echoing through the caverns. That's when I knew, okay, this game has me. I was in good hands. About 20 hours in, I found this Colosseum. Your warrior finds their way to our fair Colosseum. Fair Colosseum? Also, his name is Little Fool. The first and second trial were challenging, but nothing wild. GG! Trial 3 though, massive difficulty spike. Nah! After a couple of hours failing normally, I decided to make it worse, by not using spells, no nail arts, just my current 7 lives, 2 soul orbs and plus 3 nail. And that's how I ended up stuck in trial 3 for nearly 12 hours. The trial starts off pretty tame. Wave 1 gives us these 2 bronze tier bugs, and nothing too wild. We clean them up with some easy pogos, no problem. As the second one goes down, a pair of mosquitoes spawn in. Rinse and repeat, still light work. Wave 2 is where things start to get real. Enter the primal aspid, or as I like to call it, the 3 bug, because of the 3 projectiles it spits in perfect ruin your day formation. These suckers gave me a hard time early on. I used to eat every single shot, but after hours of pain I've learned how to dance around them. Wave 3 brings a bit of chaos, but if I keep swinging and create enough space, I can usually recover, even if I take a couple hits. The early waves are pretty forgiving, mainly because they give you room to heal. But that luxury disappears later on, and that's when the real endurance begins. A new enemy shows up, the 4 bug, and yes, it shoots 4 projectiles. Extremely creative naming, I know. Thankfully, there's still a solid window to fight back safely here. As long as I hold my ground, it's manageable, and I can still heal when needed. Then come the big flying bugs, the ones that explode on death. Each takes 3 hits to kill, but I can usually bait them one at a time and handle them without too much trouble. And that clears us into wave 5. This next section gave me some trouble the first time around, but I learned something important. You can just chill in the corner, let the explosive bugs do their thing, and let the chaos sort itself out. While stalling here, I'd often ask myself how many more times am I going to do this? This next section is the calm before the storm. Here the game makes you think, oh, it's not that bad, I can do this. But I did not let that deception fool me. I knew there was more to come. A lot more. I methodically clear these monsters and easily get all my soul and health back. And I surely need it. 2 more mosquitoes spawn and I make quick work of them. As they go down, 2 3-bugs spawn in and I repeat the process. As the second 3-bug dies, a third paired with a winged fool spawns. Now this is a pretty chaotic screen to deal with. I try to use the platforms as a shield to pivot around all the enemy attacks. If I mess up and I take too much damage, I can still heal here by baiting the enemies up and quickly moving to the bottom platform to create a window, or vice versa. When every enemy is dealt with, we get another transition phase with worms, which offers some more breathing room. The enemy cycle that comes after is rather easy to deal with. I always focus down this winged fool first with repeat pogos. After, all that's left are 2 more of these pesky freaking mosquitoes, which I actually ended up disliking more than the 3-bug, because in my opinion they are a lot less predictable. We get another opportunity to heal back to full HP, and this is where things start to get real interesting. Usually it's best practice to get rid of the 3-bug first, but I didn't do that in this attempt. To clear this room with my current damage output and no spells or arts, I have to immediately get rid of the flying mantis as it spawns, because another one will spawn soon after and this can quickly spiral out of control with 2 of them on the screen and more. The first couple of tries in this part of the trial I failed miserably, but after some practice it didn't take long before I started to get the hang of it. However, this is still easy mode compared to the most difficult part of the trial, which is coming very soon. As you can see, as long as there is only 1 flying mantis on the screen, there's a lot of safe space, and it really isn't too bad. When the last mantis goes down, I get some more breathing room. I can bait this enemy to the side and create a window to heal. No more enemies will spawn until I kill this big boy, so we just use it to heal back up to full HP. In the next wave I have to deal with 2 soul twisters, which look and move really intimidating, but once I learned their moves and attack patterns, they became a breeze to deal with. They only take 3 hits each for me to kill them. Next up is a soul warrior, yet another easy to predict enemy, no problems here. The spiked floor makes its appearance once more and we are forced onto the platforms. Now this absolute shocker of a bug that vomits electricity on the player location shows up. At first this was very overwhelming for me and I kept getting hit or falling into the spikes.
But actually it's rather easy.
Just gotta cycle through the room and make sure to not stay in one spot. Another shocker bug shows up, and if I have to, I can use this moment to heal back up to full. There is a decent delay between the casts of his electricity spell. Now I have to fight another shocker bug and a soul twister simultaneously. Also not that bad, but definitely requires all my focus. The platforms and the spiked floor disappear, and now for the final part of this wave, I have to kill a soul warrior and a soul twister. Well, since the twister is less predictable and only takes 3 hits to kill, I focus him down first. Once again, it took me quite a couple of tries to really grow comfortable with this wave, but after that it's really nothing too bad here. The moment the soul warrior falls marks the end of this wave. I quickly use the transition to get some heals in. Wave 7 starts off fast, but easy, with a winged fool and the self-proclaimed strongest warrior, is what I figured out when I used my dream nail on him. If I have to, I can actually kill the winged fool here and leave the warrior alive to heal some more. I deemed that unnecessary in this attempt and continue with these 2 acid-spitting piles of trouble. These monsters also caused me a lot of trouble the first couple of attempts, but I learned to bait their attacks properly to create safe windows to attack in. Now I have to kill 2 more of them, but this time paired with a winged fool. I pogo the winged fool for free and repeat the process on the acid spitters. Oh look, it's another acid spitter, but a bigger one. Well, no problem. I learned that I can easily kill this while spamming attacks and staying in melee range. Alright, overall it's been challenging, but still nothing too bad. So I hear you thinking, if you're calling every single thing not that bad, then why in the world did it take you 12 hours to finish your challenge? Well, my dear ladies and gentlemen, This part up next is what stood between me and my title. The biggest hurdle of the entire Trial 3. Oh, and while doing this challenge, I was not aware of the Shadow Dash yet. An ability that gives you a lot of invincibility frames every couple of seconds on your dash. Whew! That would have been pretty darn useful for this challenge, huh? All the more glory to me for doing it without. With no floor and not a single platform to stand or heal on, this wave is the true test of endurance. There is zero breathing room. I'm forced to play my absolute best with no chance to recover from big mistakes. Down and up spells are the best way to deal with this wave, but I'm not allowed to use these. My best strategy is to carefully maneuver to the top part of the room and make sure I always have the high ground over the enemies. Sometimes RNG can completely mess me up where all of the 4 bugs spawn above me. If this happens, I need to pull a Turbo Goku, or else it's game over very quickly. Yeah.
Why do they spawn so high, man?
You were probably thinking that this was the winning run. Well, so did I. Oops. However, it did provide us with a perfect example of how RNG can mess up that wave. Let's continue where we left off, but switch to the winning run instead. Now that we have survived the 4-bug raid, it's still far from over. The arena slims down even more, and we only have this tiny square to move in. But the spikes are still there. At least I have to kill only a single mosquito at a time, but missing one pogo means taking 2 inevitable hits from both the enemy and the spike floor. This wave has been the biggest bottleneck for me, and I reckon for most players. Since I'm playing through the game completely blind, it was also rather scary to take on this challenge without knowing what I signed up for exactly. For all I knew, there was 30 more waves with even smaller rooms and more enemies. Fortunately for me, the worst had been dealt with. A couple of easy waves that let you get back all your soul and HP are up next, until we finally meet the man himself, the God Tamer. I said the next rooms are easy, but you have to realize that making it past the hardest bottleneck means the pressure is on. This was actually only the second time I made it past there, so I was still kinda stressed out. But then my confidence kicked straight back in, and all I could think of is, yup, I still suck, gotta get good.
Gotta get good.
I was absolutely determined to make the most of it. I started losing my grip here on these monsters. They are extremely simple to deal with in comparison to the previous waves, but the pressure was getting to me. I had to put it to the side and clutch up. And so I did. Some more familiar faces showed up. I gotta stay calm and collected. With only 2 lives remaining and no space to heal, there was zero margin for error. This is it! I paused the game for a second here to let my nerves fade away. A couple deep breaths later, it was finally time to claim my title. Is that it? Wait, oh, it's not it? I have to kill the big guy too? This was such a weird moment for me. All the pressure was gone and my heartbeat returned to sanity. In my mind, I had already completed the trial. Honestly, it would have been better if I still felt that pressure, because I got to a single life for the 3rd time during this boss fight, despite the big bug not being that hard to read with a bunch of predictable attacks. But there are a lot of moments to heal back up safely, and so I did. A couple attack cycles and nail swings later,
Freaking die, Nate!
ooh, is that it?
Is that freaking it?
Okay, I guess there was actually a bunch of pressure and nerves left. That final sigh of relief is where I let it all go. This is how I completed my challenge of beating the Trial of the Fool melee only, with no spells, no overpowered charms, no shade dash, and no coming back later. Just me and my boomer reflexes. All in all, I'm rather proud I didn't cave, and I freaking did it! If you appreciate all the hard work that went into making this video and enjoyed the chaos, liking and subbing really helps push this video out of Hello Nest's algorithmic void. This is the first Hollow Knight video on my channel, and depending on its performance, there might be many more to come. My goal is to 112% the game before Silksong releases, with some self-imposed challenges, such as this one, squeezed in here and there. Did you also struggle with the Trial of the Fool? And how long did it take you to complete? If you do leave a comment, and I would love it if you did, please keep it spoiler-free so I can keep experiencing the game fresh. Thank you. As I'm currently still in the process of achieving the aforementioned goals blind, I'm streaming my full playthrough over at twitch.tv/nethercookie. I'd love to have you stop by sometime. Thanks for watching, and till we meet again.